Hello, folks. My name is Walt, and today we are talking about sci-fi writers playing old school D&D. And joining us first, we have Chaos Actual Nick Cole. How you doing, sir?
It's Friday.
I don't think I can top anything like that, except for nobody else sees it, but I do, because I'm actually monitoring the control board. Is Big Benny dancing behind the scenes when the intro music comes on, which
every
is
single
absolutely
time.
epic.
I love the stuff. It's really good.
Absolutely epic. J-Mac playing Crowley.
How's it going?
Oh, not as good as Wilbur Aloysius Kuchenmeyer being played by Mike.
Howdy, howdy.
We have Lieutenant Rick James being played by JR.
Good afternoon, or as I would say if I was the Emperor, oh, Benny, give me back my channel points.
That wasn't his fault. The dice hated him that day. We have a pretty lively chat, and we'd like to welcome Naylin playing Eleanor today. How are you?
Yep, good. I'm the one that stole JR's points.
As you should. Naylin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, I'm Naylin, and Sinnekins, my husband, he got me started into this, which I'm so glad because it's an awesome addiction I now have. And I'm really excited to be here, not at work as a paramedic right now, and I'm really hoping to kill somebody today.
Is that something you don't get to say very often in your other job?
Yes, because I'm always saving people. I'd like to kill somebody.
I want to ask
Not it.
I want to ask a question about paramedicing. How many calls on average a week involve someone like claiming to accidentally have stuck something up their butt?
At least 3.
Oh my god!
And it's always
my
like
God.
it's always like 1,000,000 to 1 shot, or like an accident, or like I just fell over
They fell on it.
Face went right up my butt.
Or the guy that put a Coca-Cola bottle up, and my question was there still pop in there? And he looked at me, I go, because mentals could fix this whole situation.
Coke and a smile.
What's sad is he also worked for the Coca-Cola company in town, so he's never going to live that down.
Oh,
Never.
my God.
Does that give him like special bonus points at work?
No, but it gets you like special honorary badge of what you are called a shit magnet, which I have one of.
Great.
Oh, my goodness. So this is kind of like an escape into violence for you.
Yes, that's why I play MMORPGs too, because I get to kill all the things.
I gotcha.
And it feeds her dice addiction.
That too.
Do you have a dice addiction? Oh, my God. Yes, a little bit.
Not as much as my friend Andrea, but yes. She has, I think, over 300 sets of dice.
Just 300?
Just.
Speaking of dice, Awesome Dice just dropped some new ones that are pretty awesome. I'm trying to convince myself to wait.
Can you tell us about them, JR?
They are skeleton and vibed metal dice that have like carvings into them, and then they had some that glow in the dark. Although I don't know why you'd be playing in the dark where you'd need those, but whatever.
Mine glow in the dark.
Nicole and I have our own game of D&D in the dark, and I'm always a hero.
Right.
We're not going to ask what D&D stands for, but
I
it's
know.
fine. It's fine. So before this gets any more fun or out of hand, which is kind of, oh my goodness, starting already. I just want to say really, really quick, thank you to Leo Vicarius for dropping a bucket load of 10 tier 1 community subs in the chat. That is awesome, dude. Thank you
nice.
so much.
Thank you very much. Cool.
Yes.
Now I have a point of order while I'm thinking of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't bring it up.
You're dead.
Thank you very much, Nick. Okay. Every time you guys show the words "Forgotten Ruins" on the screen, you should really have a parentheses TM by ruin, because you guys don't want to have what Kleenex had lived through.
What happened to Kleenex?
Kleenex lost the brand Kleenex. They don't own it anymore, which really irritates the hell out of them. Escalator lost the brand Escalator. When you say the important words, Forgotten Ruin, you got to put TM by it for sure.
Oh,
Gotcha.
To kind of mark your version of it.
okay. No, I think that's a good call, and I'm sure that'll make Jason happier in life. So I will get the art department, the Galaxy's Edge art department, which is one guy named Ryan,
Okay.
on it, and hopefully we won't break him. But yeah,
Okay.
thank you. That's
right. That's right.
A lot of people, if you don't know about James M. Ward, you actually ran the legendary game company TSR, right?
Well, I was the vice president of production, so all the hundreds of products we produced every year, that was my fault.
Sweet.
Awesome. Well, speaking of my fault, last week we killed legendary game designer James M. Ward.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't kill James M. Ward. You killed Big Benny.
Big Benny. Yep.
It's a whole
He
different
killed
deal.
himself.
So there.
No, he didn't.
The session ended in a knife fight with what looked to be an easy overcome.
The smallest, littlest goblin ever.
Stop it. He had big shoulders. He had really big shoulders.
Really big shoulders and a mom tattoo.
There we go.
So so nobody kind of recognized that his until too late that his blade was doing some really fiendish stuff, and then it entered under the soft palate of Big Benny's mouth, and pretty much stopped it from saying anything else for a little while, as his head pretty much came off like a dandelion top.
Yeah, isn't that great? Good image there. Thanks, Walt.
It's my job. Be descriptive.
Yeah.
So when we pick up, you guys are winding through what kind of looks like a set of very worn stairs just outside of Turtle Shell Bay. It's taken about 20 minutes to walk to where you are. Nick has been Nick's character of Captain Rock Powers, pilot extraordinaire and savior of the crew of Pelican 6-4 Heavy, has been needing much assistance because while there hasn't been super whiskey created yet, he's super into his rum. As you guys wind through the trail and kind of make your way, you eventually come upon a portion that's lit. That lit portion has I don't even want to know. That lit portion has like torches forming a path, and you guys get to what ends up being this huge, enormous grove, kind of in like a basin, and the grove is littered with what looks like grapevines, and a guy wearing kind of like rustic robes. He pulls back his hood. He's probably mid-30s, early 40s. He's got like just the edges of his beard near his mouth are starting to gray. He's got everything all sorts of braided, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. What are you doing here?" Doesn't anybody say anything?
I'm the captain, and I'm not as drunk as I should be, right?
He says, "Well, you know, we can do something about that. You see, this is the Red Vine Vineyard, where we make the best wine here on Turtle Shell Bay."
Oh no!
Fill me up.
He says, and I would just like to, and as he kind of scans around all of you, he's trying to, it seems like he's trying to appraise and judge whether or not you guys are going to be any fun when kind of moving through the crowd, a very burly guy who does have extremely wide shoulders walks up and gets nose to nose with him, and you see the man kind of shrink within himself at this other man's approach. And Captain Durgan, who has said he would bring you there, reaches down to a litter being carried by his men and pulls back a cloth, exposing the ruined head of the Master Sergeant Benny. And Daryl, the gentleman says, whose name is Daryl, looks down and says, "Oh, well, that explains a lot. Look, I have some people here who've been waiting to meet you, and I have wine. I have lots of wine. So bring him over there, and we'll get things moving promptly.
Man, boy, why don't you take care of that while I drink wine?
A woman in a hood and more of the rustic clothing, almost like field worker, something a field worker might wear, brings you over what kind of looks like almost like a lacquered wooden cup filled with a sweet-smelling wine.
I don't even question it and drink it all in one go.
She takes the cup, kind of looks at it, and hands you another cup.
I drink that one too.
He says, the gentleman, Daryl, says, you might want to slow down a little bit. We've fermented some of the sugars in just the right way this past batch. It's just amazing, amazing stuff. You might have a headache when this is all done.
Listen, I'm an Air Force pilot. We live by one rule. Don't do gay stuff openly. And
oh, jeez.
I think I feel the need for speed or something, but I'll take one.
So she hands you another cup. They bring you to the center of the grove, and it's almost set up like a maze. But there's all these tangles of grapevines everywhere. You have people working, pulling various parts of the grapes down and assembling them into bunches. As you get to the center of the grove, there's what looks like sticks laid out in a bed. They lay the litter with Big Benny on top, and as you guys are kind of filtering in this open space, you notice two men, or what may be men. They're probably a little shorter than the dwarves you guys met at Saravolta, but very, very lean. Where the dwarves were very, very stout and like powerful looking, these guys look
gnomish.
Maybe like kind of almost like an athletic, right? So they're wearing robes with hints of armor underneath. The hoods are drawn. There are like cuts to the side where just the hints of ears are sticking out, but their faces are completely covered by these masks, and one of them has the shape of like almost like a lion's mouth in the front with lenses, so you can't see their eyes, and the other one is just like a almost like those old theater masks with a frown, and both of them have hoses coming out, which connect at the near the jawline and then go under the hood. Those hoses. You can't really see where they go, but you can see, you can kind of see their shoulders rising and lowering. But as they breathe, small wisps of like different colored smokes come out from under the mask. Yes.
Do they remind us of the weird shape that Benny was taking as he was changing in the ruin?
Benny was kind of getting shorter. He wasn't really taking on too many features just yet.
Okay.
Does he remind me of the Star Wars people that were like, on that desert planet? I forget the name.
yeah, the Jawas.
Yeah, the Jawas.
Except for the masks.
Yeah.
Right. So while you guys are standing there, kind of looking at these two, somebody you recognize walks in. The elvish agent that helped you take the fortress. Mm-hmm. on the road walks in.
She had a thing for me, if I remember.
She might not remember it that way, but that would be up to Naylin to decide.
Oh,
so she walks in, kind of giving you that look like, oh, this again.
You betcha.
And you remember these people. You were sent by the Rangers of the Broken Teeth to assist these guys to take a fortress that was being overrun by sort of like pirates. And you ended up acting as like Overwatch for them, raining arrows when necessary and kind of giving advice. And while you were impressed they lived, you weren't impressed with their skill just yet. So the guy Daryl turns around and he says, "Okay, so here's the way this works. And then he looks over and he can see Durgan just fuming. So the other pirate captain that kind of helped you guys get to this point does not look happy. And then he looks at you, Captain Powers, and he's like, all right, so who should I be afraid of? Is it the guy who's going to drink himself unconscious or the guy who's going to beat me unconscious?
I'm all about the love.
Okay. Then here's how this works. So the other day, I'm making my wine, and these two stroll in saying that they needed to wait for their brother to come to them. I do not know what that meant, so I didn't question, and they weren't in the way. They're little people. So, and here you are, and now here they are, and it seems to be, I don't know, weirdly a coincidence. But normally, somebody who brings me someone in this condition, we bury them. But your two friends here insisted that when this showed up, they were to be a part of whatever ceremony was going to happen.
Yeah. We need this dude. Let's get it on.
It doesn't really seem that bad.
He owes you money.
What's a little necromancy amongst friends?
Right. So speaking of being amongst friends, JR just made a comment in the chat talking about your Substack, Nick. Would you like to give us a little hit about that?
Hey, if you want the real live Burning Man experience that is Nick Cole every day in your inbox, then you should go over to Substack and hang out, where I'm actually posting podcasts with my lovely sidekick, Single White Medusa. And I am doing some free short stories. There's pictures of Single White Medusa, making a little bit of commentary, but with a lot of tongue in cheek and wit. And if you like some of my writings and books, you can get them over there for free. There's also going to be, like if you read Soda Pop Soldier, there's going to be free chapters of that going up behind the paywall. So I guess they're not really free. But anyways, there is a lot of free content over there. We're doing a podcast pretty much every day and having a good time and just talking about stuff. So give it a shot. Check it out. Come on over. Right
on. Hey, thanks for that, Nick.
Thank you, sir.
So, as this kind of bucket of insanity keeps swirling and moving about, the two little creatures walk forward and they stand in front of you. One of them says, the voice is very low and it kind of echoes in the mask. And as they speak, the big exhalations of like greenish blue gas come from these masks. It's very, very creepy. The one of them says, "We lost our brother," and then he, continuing in that voice, because if I do that, I won't be able to for too long. I won't be able to talk for the rest of the day. He says, "We lost our brother," and in the span of months, he changed. At once, where before he was brash, bold, and easy to set off, he became tactical, cautious, and quiet. He says, and then we lost him totally. In fire and thunder, we lost him. He says, this man is tied to our brother. We bring them back as one, we pay, and then we help.
While he's doing that,
make a constitution check real quick to see how much alcohol I've drank.
and while he's doing that, I am going to raid all valuable and useful goods from Benny's body just in case to keep it safe.
So you start looting your friend?
We're just protecting his assets for the party. If he comes back, maybe Nick lets him have him back.
Hey, Jeremy, he got any daggers left?
He's got his combat knife.
Okay.
I bend down to these little guys because of my Constitution check I just rolled and go, Luke, I am your father.
He says, I accept you as my father in our clan.
Oh my God.
He says,
Yeah, that sounds like a great deal, especially since you guys are paying. Do whatever. Let's just get him back. And, if he's weird, I'm cool with that. He was always weird.
he says, he like touches his own chest and he says, Nero. And then he points to the other one who's more, less armored, but more like wearing like robes and like traveling clothes. He points and says, Coden.
Okay, Constitution check to see if I can get my name out. I do. Rock out. Captain of the Cyclops Whore.
So they gesture to the kind of like that dais that had been built. A couple of Daryl's attendants. And Nayland, you've dealt with this guy before. Daryl, the drunken druid. While he might seem like a simpleton, you know that the spirits of the ruin favor him quite a bit. When he usually, where others would probably mess things up pretty badly, they kind of treat him like a favored son. And when he casts magic, it's usually very powerful and very dangerous.
So he's a very powerful village idiot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So they lay Benny's body down on the bed of sticks. They strip him down to just basically like his pants. And then, yeah.
Why stop at the pants?
A couple of the druidic attendants that had been feeding Nick wine, they get into less than like their working attire and more like robes. They start wiping down the body with these different oils and salves and stuff like that. They paint some symbols on him, and then they back up. And Daryl starts chanting the language you guys don't get, but in the back of your mind, Wilbur, you start hearing what was done be undone, what was dead be reborn. May you live again. As that happens, are you doing anything when you hear this?
No, but I'm just listening.
What about my wrist comm thing still works? So is it translating anything?
It does not translate this.
I'm glaring at Benny and hoping the oil rub down I can be next.
Are you hoping that Benny will do this if he comes back?
Depends on how much he pays me.
Gotcha. Okay. So
legendary DM James M. Ward gets an offer to be a cabana boy.
We might get our Forgotten Ruin panties then, huh?
Nice to see, James, your 40 years of hard work in RPG is paid off as an oil rubber.
Yeah.
Let that be a lesson to every kid who wants to design a game.
It's now been shot down the tubes. Thank you very much.
All right. So after a moment, a branch and vine burst from his chest and like wrap over and like wrap
Thank you
itself.
that you said chest.
Wrap over and kind of like connect itself to the dais, and this happens several times until he's totally run through and cocooned by vines, and then the what do you call it? The attendants light the entire thing on fire.
Oh, great! Yeah.
Am I hearing any more whispers?
Yes, they're rampant. Talks about rebirth, great praises to the spirit of Mother Ruin. There's tons of like chanting going on. So as this all happens, Daryl goes, "Okay, while that's cooking, we should go over here and get drunk."
I second that.
All right, so you guys kind of move into like a different Knight of Barsoom, whispers of balls. So as you guys are doing this, you watching this, you guys move over and they bring out food, they bring out wine, and Daryl kind of hints that this is going to go on for some time. That is going to burn for a while, so it might be morning until you guys find out what the disposition of this is. You guys doing anything during this time, or you just eat, drink, and beat Larry?
Eat, drink, and beat Larry.
Okay. Somewhere around morning, who's still up and who's unconscious?
I'm awake. I'm studying.
I'm probably unconsciously drunk on a water yak somewhere.
I'm awake. I don't trust these short people.
I'm
Like a good officer,
listening to the whispers in my head.
Like a good
Go ahead,
officer, I drank and now I'm PTing like a mofo.
Are you really?
Yeah,
out
you
the
got to get
toxins?
it out. Little run, little calisthenics, throw up on a palm tree, keep moving.
So while you guys are all doing your thing, and various attendants come and get you, kind of bring you back to the Grove. Daryl is extremely sober, more than he was before. He runs up and he says, it's time to peel the onion, as it were, but I may not touch the Grove now that the great work has been done. You must free your companion and bring him back to this life.
Seems kind of gross.
Yeah, I'm
Did he
not
turn
sure
into
it's
Shrek?
Thank you very much for that thought.
He says, I
said
don't know what that is, but if that is what you were hoping for, maybe the great spirit of the ruin will take care of it.
Cool.
I was hoping for like a gay ent.
So I will walk over to Benny's body and then start doing
Bad
whatever I
boy
have to
will
do.
perform the task.
With his own knife, I will cut him free from the vines.
So it's
with the black obsidian blade thing that does not stop bleeding. You're gonna cut him up with that. That's
I've
his
got
knife.
He's also got his combat knife.
Does he?
Not anymore. I've got it.
all right. So the branches have been
Hey, James, do you know what it says on your character sheet?
No, what does it say?
Naked and afraid.
Well,
So-
first of all, it probably just says naked. The afraid part, nah.
So
The
you
afraid
guys-
is us.
you and the daggers start ripping open the vines. It takes a good couple of minutes because it's like they were roasted and became super hard. As you break through, there is a small being in there, thin, lithe, much the same size and shape of the ones that are out and waiting for you. As your new compatriot looks to your face, you notice that its eyes are very large and almond shaped, but at the same time, as it blinks, there's an interior membrane that blinks vertically versus horizontally. So kind of like a nictating membrane on an alligator or a lizard.
Or like the MIB kind of creature.
Yeah. So that happens. The face is very cat-like with a flat nose, long protruded mouth. Do you have a beard or a goatee or anything like that, Benny?
Probably not.
Just a new little baby.
So you're there, and you're not naked and afraid, but just naked.
Naked, yeah, that's
He's
great.
adorable.
And you see your oh god, and you see your friend staring at you.
Hey, good to see you guys. What happened after I left the scene?
Well, we brought you out to this grove, and we had we had a ceremony done, and it seems that you've come back as you-ish.
So
Yeah,
Benny,
well,
let's
I have
talk
all
about
my
this.
memories. I can field strip my weapons, and I have all sorts of combat techniques. So I'm ready to go again.
Yeah, but
God,
now
he's
you
so
have a
cute.
little baby boy body.
well,
Now he needs a flea collar.
I believe this little bitty
Jesus.
boy can take any dagger that's out there. You wanna have me have a test with him?
Until somebody throws a ball of yarn.
So like literally, we bring you back to life, and the first thing you do is just start flinging shit.
Just want you to know I'm ready to go.
Okay, all right. Well, I like the cut of your jib, Private Benny.
No. We had an agreement. I fulfilled my part. You must fulfill your part.
You didn't win the battle.
You didn't win. You got killed.
It
You
wasn't
got killed
it
by a
wasn't-
little goblin.
No, it wasn't
Beat
to
the
the
living
victory.
crap out of you.
It was just me doing the fight.
Okay. So do you have that in writing, or can you prove that, or give
Well,
you
this Air Force.
I, of course, am an honorable trooper, and just like you.
Oh no, I'm a pirate now. I gave up the Air Force.
And we sold you up for the Columbia House VHS tape.
We'll make you probationary master sergeant, and we'll see how you do.
Okay, that sounds great.
So
So the first thing I'd like to do is I would like to grab some of these natives and turn them into daggers, because we're really short of daggers these days.
So you're looking at some of the people working in the Grove.
No, I'm just looking at maybe some of our pirate crew get turned into daggers. Like, grab natives and you train them up. Isn't that the way we work?
I don't think you grab them.
You come up to their knee or whatever. Yeah.
So as you step out,
You make them an offer. You're like, Jimmy, have you ever watched Greco-Roman wrestling?
And they're
You'd
gonna say,
like to
"Hey,
be a
kitty,
dagger?"
I was saying,
Well,
you've seen
gotta-
the videos.
Yeah, you got to sweet talk them a little bit. You can't
Purr
just-
at them. They like that.
Yeah. All right.
So as you step out, there are these two people that are the same size as you, and now you kind of recognize that you weren't standing in a hole, and that everybody is now taller than you.
Do I know their names, by the way, since they attached their brother to me?
You recognize them, but you can't quite place names. The one who's kind of wearing the armor hands you a bag, and it's armor. Or what looks like armored robes, and a hood and a mask.
Great. I love it.
So
I get dressed, of course.
okay, do you put on the mask?
Well, if it doesn't look weird and it doesn't have hoses coming out of it,
It does have hoses coming out of it.
I think I ask him, what will this do to me if I put this on?
He says, "You able to breathe better."
Yeah, well, where do I get more of the gas that comes out of these tubes?
And the one who's wearing kind of like the more robes than armor, he holds up what looks like a vial, and it's got a small amount of what looks like a bluish green liquid in the bottom of it, but the rest of the vial is all vapor. And it's got a wax seal on it, and then he pulls back a part of his cloak, and you can see there's a small box with just the very top of that vial sticking out of it. And he makes a motion to show you, you turn it upside down and push it into the small box. And then he kind of points toward the bundle that they gave you as you're getting dressed. And one of those boxes is in there in a harness that you wear on your hip.
Yeah, okay.
So we had handy dog clothes for Benny? Yeah.
They did.
Oh, okay.
I'm starting to get a little irritated at my taller troopers.
Is there a children's shop we can swing by?
Oh,
The madder he
These are-
gets, the more adorable it is.
Maybe we can some gymboree, matching tops and bottoms here. Match the giraffe with the giraffe.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
I give him back all of his equipment, but of course we have to take the firearms from him because he's just too little to use them. So we
I can
redistribute
use the
those.
rifle just fine.
Your
The
little
rifle's
tiny
bigger than
fingers
you
don't
are.
work.
I will
So-
say, as the only remaining dagger, I am a little nervous at Benny training these people that are tiny and giving them giant rifles. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying anything. I'm just watching it happen, and it is.
So,
interesting.
as you're getting dressed, they're handing you your stuff back. The rifle is going to be very large and unwieldy. So you're going to need some training with that, or some time to kind of get used to it.
Does it have a sufficient adjustable buttstock that he can even line it up?
Yeah, as long as he puts a notch on the top of
I think there's been some scientific research done on this subject, hasn't there? Isn't there a video available?
Yes, there is. You guys are gonna have to talk while I find that. But so the one that identified himself as Nero walks up to you, Nick, and he says, "We help."
Excellent. We are going to need help doing the thing that we're going to be doing.
He says, "Wait, you wait." And then he starts rifling through a small pack that he has with him. And he comes up with looks, if you had to guess at what this is, you would probably think it's some sort of handheld nebulizer, like a paramedic might use to infuse any sort of whatever, right? He takes a small vial that's got like a red liquid to it, and he pushes it in, and as he pushes it all the way in, you can hear a puncture and like a psh, and then he holds it up to you, and you can see these kind of like red vapors coming up, and he's like motioning for you to put it over your mouth.
No problem. I do it. I'm into this kind of stuff. I saw Blue Velvet. This is my chance to get my Dennis Hopper on.
As you take a deep breath, the entire area around you shifts, almost as if you're 8 years old and watching that movie where everybody goes to light speed. And then there's like there's a huge platform with all this rigging, and you see what looks like extremely large orcs, like pulling on ropes through the rigging. The entire scene shifts again.
Are they orc bards? Because if they are, that'd be an orchestra.
You lose 50 experience points for that. So
at least.
the entire scene shifts again. There's a scene of an island, and you can see kind of all of you, including the daggers, firing at something crawling across the beach. And then there's another shift, and you guys are crawling around what looks like a pit of spikes, kind of like punji sticks. And as you get to the other room, you can see cannons, barrels of powder, cannonballs, stuff like that. And then it shifts, and you're back, and he's taking the nebulizer away from your face. He says, "These things we can give you. We help."
All right. Can I have the nebulizer back?
He says no, and he puts it back in the bag.
We could use that powder.
Well, it's happy hour somewhere, so let's get going.
All right. So Durgan brings all of you aside, and he says, "Pleasure doing business with all of you." And then he kind of tips his hat at you, Eleanor. And you've had dealings with this guy before. He is a very nasty pirate, but he is very much a man of his word. So if these guys are with him, they probably have some sort of arrangement with him. So you don't have to stab him again.
Okay. I mean, I was prepared in case I had to.
But we don't object to it either.
He says, if our paths cross again, hopefully where our favors will be all called in and caught up. And he like taps your feather, and he taps you on the shoulder, and he says, "Good luck, good hunting." And him and his men leave. Where do you guys go?
I turn to my crew and I go, "I like that man. I just don't know why yet."
I like him. I just don't trust him.
I guess what we will do is we'll so what I think I've seen is I've seen a vision of something we could do, which results in us getting other people's stuff, which seems to be the basic working philosophy of piracy.
As you kind of start working through those visions that you had, you almost get the sense that floating raft with all the rigging they could build for you, and that is what could get you your forge back.
Aha. But I still have my ship.
Oh, yeah, you still have your ship. But they also can get you powder and cannons.
Right. But we kind of need to build like a dredge or a salvage vessel. Is that what we need to do?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Can they help us find the magic stick that lets us fire without powder?
You don't know. You'd have to talk to them about that. They seem very competent. Now, the other side of it is all the people in the grove are very standoffish with them.
All right, let's ask them.
What exactly are you asking?
We had the ramrod for the cannons that was somehow magical and let us fire them without the use of smoky powder. Might that be acquired here somewhere?
He says, potent magic. Where is it?
It was destroyed in a firefight.
He says, stupid human. And he just kind of like walks away a little bit. The other one that stays says, we can provide powder. No need for stick.
Okay.
Good. Well, let us return to the ship and then begin to sail towards the forge. Is that what we need to do?
Don't we need to get repairs and sell our cargo too?
Yeah, all of that stuff.
Well, if you sell the cargo, I believe you can get 5,000 for it, for all of the silks and spices and stuff like that remained. You guys had quite a bit of gold, and you have the equivalent of 600 gold pieces left from the trade bars because the dagger you guys left and then rescued later, Richardson, he placed a counter bet against the Master Sergeant. It's the only reason you guys have any money left.
That's the kind of leader you are. Your people bet against you.
You know what? We need to promote that guy to Master Sergeant.
I'm so glad we didn't leave him behind.
I know, Crowley.
All right, so you guys start selling cargo, affecting repairs, that kind of deal?
Drinking.
Sometime later in the evening, the one called Nero comes back, and while you guys are at one of the bars, the open air bars, kind of sucking down the latest alcoholic beverage and some sweet honeyed ham roasted over an open flame, they lay out a map of the Shattered Sea. They show you where roughly where you guys are and where they want you to go.
Okay.
So they point to an island and they say, here, and they say, this former Turtle Shell Bay.
Right.
This, where we were before.
Right.
This haunted.
Okay. And you want us to go there? Why?
Guns.
Then we want to go there.
So
you know who to call.
So you guys are in this bay right here.
Okay.
Right. Kind of tucked in, away from everything, away from all the other major ports and stuff like that in the Shattered Sea. Right. So Turtle Shell Bay, right, which is on this inlet in Shellicos Island. You guys are kind of tucked in here. They say that on this small island right here in the top is where you have to go. The only problem is, as he starts describing it, they ended up in part of this huge tempest and a lot of people died.
Are there undead?
A lot of undead.
Undead wizards. They're magically delicious.
And you lose another 50 experience points.
What we should
for
do
dad jokes.
So we're going to go to an undead island to get guns.
Guns, powder.
Are they like on a crashed ship? Is that what's there? Or is it a castle or a fortress or what?
Many crashed ships, but
Okay.
old fortress.
So it's like a shipwreck bay, and then there's a haunted fortress, and there's guns and dead sailors.
Yes.
Okay. Is there on this pirate island a holy person?
On this island or Undead Island?
This island.
And then he kind of looks around and he points to Gwendolyn, who is the druid that's with you, and then he points at Wilbur.
Oh, so they're holy. Okay. So we don't have to kidnap them. They've already been emotionally kidnapped by my magnetic personality. What we should do is gin up some holy water and get some silver weapons, right? For undead.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So James, why don't you procure us some silver weapons and undead fighting stuff? And Wilbur, why don't you find us some holy water? You might want to move that Sprite bottle.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Captain,
So-
my Captain.
Does Benny get a roll against adorableness when he negotiates with vendors?
I think, like Benny, if they're like, I'll give you half price off if you'll let me pick you up and cuddle you, you should do it, and you should learn some sort of Keebler elf, like Dillsbury Doughboy thing that you could do. Like you could become a fierce little weapon guy.
Especially if you had cookies.
Okay, so I'll need some gold to buy supplies. Silver isn't cheap.
All right, I'll give you 250 gold.
That might do it. I'll come back if I need more.
That's almost half of what you have in reserve.
Yes,
Okay.
don't come back.
For more.
Negotiate.
Just
Okay.
get it done with what you have.
And then am I allowed to grab 5 guys to train in daggerdom?
I shall turn to the crew and say, you've seen this man kill and murder and die his way across the islands. Which of you wishes to follow in his steps?
I'm gonna go with him
Bueller?
just to make sure he's not.
Yeah.
He's
Well, no,
getting
they're-
decent recruits.
Oh, so you're going to try and find recruits in the island? The crew want no part of it. They just want to crew the boat.
Yeah, fine. That's okay.
Well, if
We'll
you want to
find-
if you want to impress some dudes in the port, some drunken pirates or some scurvy cut dogs, then get yourself a dagger team there.
Okay, we'll try.
Okay.
I'm gonna go talk to Gwendolyn and see what I can do about improvising some holy water or other natural defenses against or offenses against undead-like creatures.
Okay, that's good.
She
And I
hands
will
you
train
a,
with Carlton.
okay. She hands you a trade bar, Mike, and says, "Clean water, salt, and something with cold iron." And then she, she goes back to what she was doing. Carlo, Jr. is what are you studying with him?
Yes, sir. On my magics.
Okay, so he's going to start giving you another spell or teaching you another spell, which is protection from evil.
Oh, nice.
I would like to find a bard in town at the bar or something.
A bard?
Yeah, like a minstrel, a singer, a guitar player.
An orcish bard.
It takes you a little while, but you find one.
Okay.
And he's got a lyre, and he's not singing, he's just playing.
Right. I would like to pay him his fee to compose a song to the goblin's hoochie mama about my undying love for her and her beauty and how I cannot sleep any longer with visions of her cleavage.
She
And-
didn't like your pearl or gems.
Yeah. and then I would like him to go sing it to her.
The one that's kind of the little paramour to the goblin.
Yes, that one.
She's dangerous.
Boy, is she. She's slain me in the heart. Don't you? What kind of player are you? You don't understand what a wretch I am over her. Bah,
Look,
you have no talent.
he says, look, Black Tabitha is one of the
I
more.
moan a little when she says her name.
Oh God. He says
So
she is one of the more dangerous pirates in that crew, and I'm not so sure you provoking her after you and yours basically almost killed her little friend.
I only don't provoke her heart to love.
Give me 50 gold for the risk.
50 gold!
Done. I give the crew's gold for my lust to be.
Oh my god!
You know, Nick would have given all of the rest of our gold.
Oh,
Every
yes,
last
easily.
Yeah.
Every last penny.
He says, I will see what I can do. Hopefully it bears the kind of fruit you hope it will bear. And hopefully I'll survive the experience.
Well, I think she shall be quite flattered by your elegant thing. But I guess I would implore you. You better do your best job. She could kill you. You said she was dangerous yourself.
He kind of like slumps a little bit. So you guys go about your various tasks, start doing different things here and there. Benny, you manage to
Look cute.
you get a couple of guys that are kind of from the indigent community that were kind of begging on the street.
Good.
You pick up 2 guys, and you're going to start training them.
Yes, absolutely. PT every morning.
Well, where do
Working
we
out.
pick them up?
Weapons training.
What's that?
Where do we pick them up?
Outside one of the bars.
I kind of wanted to Mandalorian and Baby Yoda in a bar.
That'd be nice.
Well, that's
but I
fine.
don't
We
think it's happening.
we picked up people. That's good.
So you're gonna what do you call it? You're gonna put on a mask too and never show your face.
I'm
Yeah.
not putting on a
Yeah,
mask. No, I'm not putting on a mask.
No, you don't have to.
Okay,
You're
so
adorable.
I want a couple smiths to make me some silver sling bullets and some silver edged daggers and swords. Do that with the funds I currently have.
Yeah, you can do that.
And what about
I was
What
gonna say,
about
I assume in my bardly ways, druid ways, I have the ability to create fresh water or to create fresh water from maybe not so fresh water.
Yes.
So okay, I'm just checking.
I
And they
assume that I'm about to get laid.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Any chance we're going to run any sirens at this Shipwreck Cove? That we should maybe find something to block all you men's ears from their great allure? Because
Wait, that sounds like a party.
We've been there
I wanna
before.
crash the awesome ship
There wasn't any sirens there before.
that you remember.
Yeah.
I don't think we've been to this island before.
You
No?
have not been to this island.
It's New
Okay.
Island.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I mean,
There
do
could
we
be
have some
modes of
wax sitting
more.
around? I can start making, earbuds for our guys to not turn into retards.
Like some ear cozies.
It's like a Snuggie, but better.
I think if you made a little pink one for Benny that was like that formed little rabbit, so they can be like, that would
I'm
be
talented, but I am not Martha Stewart.
It would have to be toddler size.
I'm
Did
going
you
to
read the
find
chat?
some. I want some spices, some garlic, and some Tabasco sauce kind of chili peppers. And
Okay.
maybe we can get the captain to cut down on his drinking by spiking his alcohol.
Ooh. Okay.
He'll never know I did it, but that's okay.
I would like to acknowledge the great mustachioed Sparky from chat, who's for Nick says, "This is the 21st century. Nay, sirens seduce men and women. Get with the program equality."
I'm sorry, I didn't use the
Hashtag-
right pronoun.
Hashtag-
Not political.
Hashtag Me Too'd by a siren.
We also have Benny. I feel like Benny would be a siren to sirens.
Because he's so cute.
Right. Oh my God. Look at him. He's adorable.
They're going to go scratch him under his chin.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So you guys get back to the boat, and Gwendolyn is standing on the dock. She has the druid you guys captured the last time. And as you guys are kind of walking along the pier, going toward the dock, you can see a large entourage approaching her and your captive prisoner.
I'm shadowing her just to see what's going on.
She says, "Whatever this man tells you," she says, "just be silent. Don't acknowledge him. Don't try to engage him. Just be silent." So this guy is surrounded by like a combination of like brutish looking pirates, orcs. So they kind of part, and what comes through is not something you ever thought you would see on a pirate dock in the middle of where you are right now. He's got very nicely coiffed hair. Probably has some like Vitalis or something in there keeping it together. He's wearing a polo shirt with a little alligator on it, and khaki pants with loafers.
Well, that's deep state right there.
He walks up and he says, Gwendolyn, so nice to meet you. And who's your friend? Do you say anything to him, Mike? He says, quiet type. Got it. Love it. Love the atmosphere. So you have something of mine. I have something of yours. Let's really do this. How about you give her back to me and we get this all accomplished, because I have drinking to do and, planning and stuff.
Well, maybe he's not so bad.
Do you guys approach, or do you kind of watch from the dock?
Slimy men touch. I'm going to wait right here.
Nick, what are you guys doing?
Well, someone mentioned alcohol, so I'm going to saunter on over.
The kind of like his crew kind of moves over to let you by, and he goes, "Oh my God, Rock Powers!"
It is me, and you've heard of me. I like you already, fine friend.
He says, my name is Vincent Detraglia, and he's like holds out his hand.
Vincent, Rock Powers.
He shakes your hand, and he says, "I've read your file." He's like, "Your mother Marion seemed like a nice lady, and that place you grew up in, and was that Encinitas, California?"
It was right down Carmel by the sea. They call it the Paris of California.
That's fantastic. I've always wanted to visit. Of course, now it's a little less nice. Yeah. So nice to meet you. I've been following all your exploits. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I have one question.
Sure.
Where's the pathetic little prick, Rick James?
Rick James.
Listen,
Rick James, bitch.
He says, you're on the boat right now, right? So you're not hearing any of this. He says, all right, here's the deal. I came here for her because she works for me, and you got to take care of your people. That's what good leaders do, right? He says, but here's the deal.
Yeah.
He's like, first of all, I'm constantly frustrated because instead of people able to say my name, I mean,
Vincent Detraglia.
Right? So easy. I mean, but you'd think that with all the hyphens and all the stupid pronunciations of these fantasy, whatever these people are, he goes, the only thing they can say is Trago.
Trago.
He says,
instead of your Guinea Wop name.
I mean, hey, it is what it is, right?
How to make friends and influence people.
He says, but here's the deal. He goes, you could keep her,
right?
If I get Rick James, and I'll owe you a favor.
Rick is. I don't call him Rick anymore. I call him Man Boy, and I've grown rather attached to him. He's mine, and if you keep talking to me this way, like we're friends or something, because now I don't like you, all your shit's gonna be mine too.
Oh, I was hoping it wouldn't go this way.
I kind of was.
I'm gonna step up behind my captain and show sign of force.
He goes, "Oh, it's you, and you've dealt with this guy before. This is one of the major players in the area. He is making a major play to take over the entire Shattered Sea."
Are Benny and I there?
Yes.
Okay, I step up too. And then I look back and realize the Dagger recruits have not stepped up with me. And then I wave their little 3-foot tall bodies forward, just like.
No. The new Daggers are man tall. They're 6 feet tall, broad shoulders, way good looking. Yes,
That's
they are.
not what.
I like that James's recruiting feature was good looking.
That's right.
Found outside of a pirate bar.
That's
Not
right.
inside drinking with money, but outside.
So looking tall men picking up a tiny little Benny man.
Yeah.
So what he's saying is they were earning their money the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
He says, all right. We don't want any problems.
Please let one of Benny's men be named Bryce Michael Christopher. Oh, please.
So he says, okay, we don't want any problems today. He goes, Gwendolyn, my employee, please. So she passes the druid you captured forward.
Wait. Why do you think we let the girl go?
And Gwendolyn looks
You're
at
not
you.
there. You're doing gnome business with weapons.
I'm right there. I was assigned to guard her. That's what I do.
No, that's what you're doing. You're at some counter right now trying to push
No.
yourself up while your little feet kick.
No.
Someone's rubbing your belly and you're loving it.
I don't think we should let her go. I look at the captain and say,
Again,
are you sure you want this to happen?
I don't think you're there.
Captain,
Yes, I'm right there.
just take your peacock feather and wave it at him. He'll get all distracted. It'll be fine.
So the is that a cat joke? So the Gwendolyn says, "This is the trade that we need to make."
Yep. Let's make it.
What's the trade part? What do we get?
He hands her a box.
Oh, okay.
And he says, "Pleasure doing business with you, Miss Gwendolyn." And he says, "Captain,
I have one last piece of advice for you, if you're interested.
I'm all ears."
You're not as smart as you think you are.
He says, "In fact, I have this very guy," and you see like an orc with a semblance of like a nice haircut. He says his whole job is just to sit there behind me and say "Memento Mori."
Is he a member of the orchestra?
He says, "Not yet." He goes, "Terrible violinist."
You're not as smart as you think you are.
He says, he goes, "Daily, enjoy." And then they kind of like reverse on themselves and begin walking up the dock.
I turn around to my people and I go, I think that was some pretty good captaining, and I think I rewarded myself with a drink. Everybody, for the ship.
All right, so you guys start funneling your supplies, getting everything on the boat, getting ready to debark. Yes.
I hang close to Gwendolyn and kind of wonder what's in that box.
She says, "Redemption."
Am I going to get any more than that?
Hopefully not.
Maybe you could give her one of your awkward shoulder massages.
So you guys get in the boat. The little guy named Nero comes up to the planning table, puts down like a little footstool that he's brought with him, stands up. What's that?
Is Benny showing up? He might want to stand and look at the map.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are all back to the boat now.
Okay. Benny, we've got you this footstool so you can look at the map.
Thanks.
So he says, we sail into beach, then go to Broken Fort.
Okay.
Get guns.
Will there be tangos on the beach?
We will not dance on the beach.
Will there be bad guys on the beach?
Possibly.
What if we shelled the beach?
Good idea.
Okay.
Do we have cannons?
We should probably get gunpowder or something.
I thought you guys had gunpowder.
We make it work.
Okay. So we'll prep the beach with Artie, and then the daggers will move ashore in some sort of John Wayne style Sands of Iwo Jima landing to secure the shore, and then my personage shall be rowed ashore by Manboy.
Oh my goodness. All right. So you guys plot, plan, and then set sail?
Because I rolled a 9 on the strength thing, it'll take us a lot longer. Oh, excuse me, a 6. So it might take us a little bit to get there.
Okay. Eleanor's vaping.
I'm sorry, but I was muted.
Eleanor, do you have any plans to contribute here? We don't want to dominate. Is there anything crazy you would like to do in this assault on the beach, sands of Iwo Jima, arrival of my imperious personage of Wood Beach?
Share your rum.
Okay. Rum, my kind of elf.
Do we have any pineapples on this ship by chance?
You can get some on the beach. I mean, on the dock.
I think it's daiquiri time.
It is.
Daiquiri o'clock it is. All right, so you guys sail through the night. Early morning, the watch in the crow's nest calls out that you are making landfall. So you locate the ship in the bay, and then I assume start taking a skiff. Who are you taking with you?
No, we're gonna shell the beach first.
Oh, that's right. All right. So, all right. So they start creating all throughout the night. They start using the galley, and they create these liquids, these heavily smoking liquids. They craft like almost like a basin of this stuff and put it in the center of the deck.
Are we a meth ship now?
I'm sorry?
Are we a meth ship now?
Pretty much, yes. So the one that's in the robes, Coden, he grabs one of the cannonballs. Like to him, it's like this. He dips it in the solution, and then he hands it to one of the crew and says, "Load, fire."
Sweet. All right.
Does he say don't drop it because it'll explode if you drop it?
Thanks, buddy. Thank you for helping out the team there.
Yeah.
Maybe you all want to
exploding shot or solid shot?
Maybe you want to use that Gamma World technology table that just screws everybody left and right.
I don't know. It always works for me.
Yeah. We will try to be as careful as possible as we begin to shell the beach.
Coden tells everybody it's good to have his brother back. This is what their old brother was like.
Oh, there we go.
And he says, cannons must be set by fire. And then he like drops the cannonball or one of the cannonballs and says, "Bang, no do, fire to launch."
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Do
JR,
we have any of those fun shells that you put a fuse on and it goes off and explodes into 1,000 shards?
You do not yet.
Okay.
Okay. Rick James, you want to handle the shelling?
All right, I will aim the cannons and fire them on the beach, knowing that I'll probably be the one tasked to picking them back up again later so we can reuse them.
No. We get mermaids to clean up the stuff. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that would be nice. What about chain shot? Do we have any of that good chain shot stuff?
Why would we use that on a beach?
Because it rips trees and puts big holes in things.
No trees on the beach. It's further back.
All right.
So you guys start lighting off the cannons. It takes some getting used to. The munitions that are being fired using these kind of like magical mists are twice as powerful as standard gunpowder.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. It's blowing the cannons straight across the deck. One of the rigging ropes on the cannons breaks and has to be redone. So how long do you shell the beach for?
We'll
So
shell
the
it
captain
from
says to stop.
6.
What's that, Nick?
We'll shell it from 5 until 6.
Oh, so you're going to go for an hour.
Yes.
And while they're doing that, I'm actually taking the holy water that I created and putting it into vials so that they're man portable and we can throw them and do weird things with it.
And
Gotcha.
I will assist Eleanor in daiquirifying a good day's worth of rum aboard. We'll pulp the pineapple, we'll add some sugar, maybe a little simple syrup, then we'll pour in our rum, and then we'll prep my cask so that we have like a little hitter for the rest of the day.
Okay. And I'm handing out silver daggers. And does anybody else?
You mean handing up?
And my new daggers get silver halberds. And then does anybody use a sling besides me? Because they get silver sling bullets.
Okay. Now,
Is that how you travel?
Yes. And then I put a string of garlic around my throat. Anybody else want a string of garlic?
Nah, I'm good.
No,
Okay.
I have my cask.
All right.
My cask of endless fun.
Yeah,
All right,
okay.
so you guys shell the beach for an hour, almost depleting your entire reserve of cannonballs.
And then the first enemy shows up.
Right. Do you go ashore after that?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I'll have Lamb row my skiff ashore.
All right. So you're taking Lamb with you? Are you taking the 2 gnomes with you?
Yes, we will take the 2 gnomes. We'll take Gwendolyn and little polite cleric, or was he a cleric? Yeah,
We,
cleric.
we want the 3 daggers, and I'm going, of course.
We have the 3 standard daggers, and then you have the 2 ones that are still puking over the side of the boat.
Yeah, and we've given them the silvered halberds, and naturally the regular daggers have been given silver daggers, silver etched daggers.
All right, the guy Richardson, he is holding on to during the shelling. He strips all of his magazines and dips each one in a small thing of Wilbur's holy water. So he dips all of his rounds in holy water.
It's an interesting idea.
He's like, I don't know, vampire movie. Like right before we left, we saw it on the plane.
Can't hurt. Can't hurt.
He goes, maybe it'll get me so that I don't get kidnapped and left behind this time.
I made sure you weren't left behind last time.
Yeah, me too.
That's
I
because
drink from my cask and proclaim magic powers.
All right, so you guys hit the beach. You have your guys in tow. You have Coden and Nero kind of leading the way. There are broken bodies and ships everywhere. So husks of different ships kind of litter the area. What looked like maybe zombies that were crawling out of the beach are now broken and just shattered all over the place.
Captain Powers.
So an entire beach of enemy just laid waste from an hour-long shelling. When you guys start making your way up this small path over here to start moving into the island, you get a feeling of something watching you.
How many? We have 3 old daggers and 2 new ones.
Correct.
Yes.
And the new ones are man-sized. They're not.
Yes, they're man size.
Okay. All right. I'm good.
Like their leader, who is just little teeny tiny baby size.
Your 2 new manservants are slowly sobering up. They're doing a lot of getting sick.
Do they have names?
Not yet. Not that you've been able to discern.
Wait, no, one of them does. Nick, what's the guy's name?
No, we have Richardson.
Bryce.
Yes,
Bryce
Michael Christopher.
Yeah.
Bryce Michael Christopher is his name, yeah.
This is, Bryce Michael Christopher appearing in a starring role as Dagger number 4.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have Bob Richardson, Dagger member 2, Dagger member 5, and Bryce Michael, your guy. Christopher.
With a K. It's spelled with a K. Christopher with a K.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Bryce.
Oh my God. Yeah. So you guys,
we're all up to date.
You guys get to the beach, broken enemy everywhere. You start getting the sensation that you're being watched. So as J-Mac, as you're kind of moving through everything, you keep getting the feeling like somebody's walking too close to you.
Okay. I want to take, wherever I go, I want to take Dagger member 2 and Dagger member 5 with me. Just because, I'm a named person. So.
All right. So.
Sorry, I feel somebody watching me. So I got 2 guards now.
Naylin, you're.
Am I with them or am I on the ship?
You're with him.
You're with us. This is where the party. This is where the daiquiri barrel is.
So you're kind of you've done raids like this before. So you kind of move around the unit. So starting out at the front, and then you'll check the side, and then you'll go off kind of on your own for a little bit. And as you're on one of those off little bit things, right, you see Crowley kind of turn around as if to say, "What the." As if he notices something, but you see it.
Oh, good God.
It's a guy probably in the prime of life, but he's translucent, and it looks like he's trying to talk to Crowley.
And I turn and I don't see him.
You don't see him.
Okay.
If I go over, I'm going to come down to Crowley because he can't see him. I can see him. Can I hear him if I get near Crowley? What he's saying? Okay.
Yes, you can hear him.
Afraid to know what he's going to tell me.
So
does the ghost acknowledge Naylin?
Does he see me?
He kind of like looks to you as if to kind of like wonder what you're doing, and then when you start staring at him because he lags behind for a minute, and then he sees that you're not looking at Crowley, you're looking at him. He says, "Can you see me?"
Duh. Yes, I can see you.
He goes, and he goes to hug you and passes right through you. And he goes, "Oh,
Gross.
that sucks."
Yeah, that sucks, but that's gross.
He goes, and as he passes through you, you feel cold.
Very cold. So he's definitely dead guy. Do you know what happened to you, man? Do you know where you are right now?
So, I just know that I think he can see me, but he can't hear me. But you can see me and hear me.
I can see and hear you. He didn't quite see you. He felt like somebody was around him, but I can see and hear you. Do you know where you are?
So I fought my way out of the interior of the island.
Okay.
And then I was so happy because I saw a ship in the bay, and I was going to light my signal fire. And then somebody started shooting cannons. And so I felt weird for a moment, like you do with overwhelming pain, and then I felt pretty good. And as I've been trying to talk to you guys as you were getting off your boat, and as you start moving toward the island, but then I saw, and he like points, and you can see one of the broken bodies on the beach is a sort of hamburger representation of him. He says,
Jesus.
"So, signal fire wasn't going to work. But you guys can see me."
Take a deep breath, man. What's your name?
Have you changed your socks?
You can't see him.
No.
What about Rick James?
Does anybody got any ibuprofen?
Rick James, you can't see him.
Is she asking us for ibuprofen? Because now I want to say I've been watching her talk to no one on the beach.
So
I
yeah,
really do look crazy.
I'm
Yes.
wondering how many dacqueries she's had.
I might
So
be a
I'm-
woman, but I don't have quite crazy eyes yet. About 3 more daiquiris. I'm going to have some crazy eyes going on, but I'm not there yet. What's his name so I can tell everybody else that I'm talking to this hamburger of a human?
he says, "My name is Hamish.
Perfect. Hamish the hamburger.
You can call me Misha for short. That's what my crew used to call me. So I was a gunner's mate. I was a pretty good gunner's mate too, which is why I really recognized the cannon fire coming in.
Yes.
But we came ashore to get the cannons. There's cannons at the fort over there, and with cannons and shot and powder. Apparently, this used to be a Govar fortress. Govar. So the word that he's using is kind of slang for the gnomes.
Okay. So can you show us how to get to where these more cannons are? Because, we could always use more cannons.
Yeah. So it's this way. Oh my God, I'm so happy you can see me. But I mean, how does this work? Like, are you able to help me? Can you, like, you obviously can't put me back in there, but can you?
One step at a time. If Benny dies again, we'll put you in him.
I don't.
Put him in a weapon.
He
Wait
says,
a minute. Wait a minute.
He says, "I don't know what that means." And as Nayland's talking, Crowley comes up because you've noticed her talking to no one. And he's like, "I get the sense that he can hear me." And then that hear me part, you pick up clearly and distinctly, Crowley.
Yeah, Crowley.
Okay.
This is Hamish. Misha. Meet him.
Misha?
Yes, he's Misha. He's Misha cute. And so this is a ghost that
A
A
ghost.
cannon killed. Yes,
Right.
he's a straight ghost. A cannon killed him, and he's going to show us how to get more cannons. But because we need more cannons.
Benny,
I
you
wonder-
should have fired all those cannons.
Yes, and we're going to have the dagger team. No matter how small they are, they're going to carry them.
I'm wondering whether the hamburger has any goodies on him. He doesn't need it anymore.
Yes, let's go look.
You gonna
I'm
loot
gonna
his body
pass.
while he's standing there?
Yes.
As the captain, I would like to circuitously interact, and I find out the nature of this because this is all very interesting. We are on a tropical island in the Caribbean, correct?
Yes.
It's rather hot and sweltering, right?
Yes.
And you feel cool around this ghost, right?
Yes.
Stick
He's
very
your
close to
personal
me,
AC.
Hamish.
He's your personal
don't worry.
AC.
I am going to make sure you lead an active and valuable life, and I'm going to do everything that you can, but just stay right on me. You're my new
You have a
right.
new banana or
I can't talk to you or anything, but I feel cooler in your presence. And now you're you.
He's his own personal air conditioner.
Conditioner.
He's going to be your own personal fan that you wear when you're waiting in line
Yeah.
to get on the roller coaster.
Basically.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
want to believe in him with all my heart, but I'm willing to let Naylin communicate through him.
Sure.
My personal, you know what? We're going to call you AC from now on. Hamish is your dead life, your dead word. Your new time, AC. It's a really tough name. Come here, AC. You come stand right here.
So Hamish is watching all this going down, and he like looks at you, and then who's looting his body?
JR, of course.
James.
The
Rick
guy
James?
who shot him with cannons.
Yep.
So he says, why is he doing that?
So he can keep your stuff safe.
Yes.
Oh, so he's not like looting me or anything.
No,
No.
he's keeping it for later for safekeeping.
That's very kind of you.
I try.
He says, "Oh," and he like puts his hand on JR. JR, you feel an intense cold in your shoulder, and it's becoming uncomfortable, almost painful.
Okay.
Level drain.
He says, "Oh, that might be bad." Captain Kilgosha, JR dies.
My awesome dice will save me. It's okay.
Can you also hand AC the
Oh my gosh.
cask of
yes.
alcohol so he can cool it down?
Have a sit right here on my barrel for a few minutes.
So he
This
says,
is brilliant.
"Well, I can lead you guys into the island."
Yeah.
He says, here's what's going on, and he like puts his finger in the dirt, and while you guys are standing there, you start seeing a sand table start forming.
Ooh, nice.
I asked him to put his other hand on my barrel.
He says, he looks at you, Naylin, and he says, "Is that a euphemism?"
No, he literally
I'm
wants
not
you to
doing
hold his
that.
barrel.
So he kind of produces an entire like sand table of the fort that you guys are going to. It looks kind of broken down, like it's seen better days. Looks like it's starting to be overgrown. You can tell that there's all sorts of from the kind of glass house that he's forming. There's plenty of places of ambush and where things could go very wrong very fast.
Okay.
So you guys venture into the island.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
All right. So as you're, you approach the fort. Oh, hold on. Benny's saying, hold on.
Why don't
Yes,
we
sir.
use a detect magic to see if any of the equipment that's on all these correct ships could be useful to us?
You want to start trying a spell?
I don't do a spell, but maybe JR or our good other guy can toss a spell.
The gnome illusionist does not do spells. Is that what you're telling us?
He's actually a gnome thief, but that's neither here nor there.
If JR's down here, I gotta kind of interpret for him, but him and I could try to do detect magic together.
Well, first,
I
we
love
need to
that.
get off the body.
I love that.
Yeah, one of the wrecked ships has some magic present.
Okay.
You can't tell what it is, but because it's behind the hull, But if you were to go into one of the holes in the hull, you can definitely try and go in there and find out what's there.
Was there
As my
anything,
vote.
was there anything interesting on the hamburger meat?
Nothing of value.
Okay.
Nothing of magic. He's carrying a small bag of what look like pearls.
All right,
Dibs.
Pearl. They're mine. I ran
Dibs.
through the.
Screw Dolores. She don't need no more pearls. Dibs.
All right, so you guys enter into the hull to see what's up.
Yeah, we got to do that.
All right.
Nick's busy hurling in the bushes.
Yeah.
One too many daiquiris.
And I think is AC still sitting on his casks of alcohol?
Of course.
Cool.
All right. So you guys start moving and getting your stuff together. You go into one of the holes in the ship. The ship is looks like a small galleon that got beached here. It's pretty ratty. Looks like it's been here for a while. You go in, manage to separate some of the roping and rigging. There's broken barrels and stuff like that. And in the Leo, what's wrong with cooling the alcohol? It's a medical supply. So as you round the corner, there's what looks like the corpse of a man hanging suspended in midair. And he's wearing what looks like a bright red cloak.
And
We love that.
Hey, Richardson, this look familiar?
Not funny, man. Not funny.
Does the
Why you don't wear
cloak
red
look,
shirts?
does the cloak look magical to me?
The cloak is radiating magic, yes.
Oh,
All right,
And strong magic.
All right, then I'm gonna walk closely and see if it interacts when I get closer.
It does not move, but it seems like it's holding the body aloft.
So I turn to is Carlton with me? I can ask him what he thinks.
Carlo is not coming on the shore. He says he does not want to be on the shore with this.
Dysentery.
I'm gonna take a chance because I'm an adventurer and I'm gonna reach out and take the cloak off the dead guy.
All right.
And I'm gonna probably take an arrow in the knee, and that'll be all over for me.
Stop it.
Roll some dice.
The arm, the guy's arm reaches out and grabs you around the neck.
All right, that's not good. I stab him with my silver dagger.
Now we roll for initiative.
All right.
I got an 11. Who's rolling for you guys?
I just rolled an 11.
We win.
Yeah, tie goes to the runner. Choke me, Bobby. And that's how JR dies. All right. So he starts like looking at this cloak, and the thing's arm just reaches out and grabs him around the neck.
Okay.
JR. All right. So you guys win. So that we'll start with you, JR. What are you doing? You're stabbing it?
I'm stabbing with the silver dagger.
All right.
Armor class.
Armor class 4.
Thank you.
All right, let me pull out my chart, see if I hit it.
So unadjusted, you're going to need a 15 to hit it.
We're fighting a hanging suspended corpse.
Yes.
Looks like it.
Do I
Well,
still get?
It's already grabbed JR, so.
Right.
Do I still get my plus to the hit die from?
Yeah, your basic attack bonus?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got a question in general.
Mhm.
How is it possible for him? Yeah, if someone's like grabbed me around the throat, how is it possible for me to miss? Yeah.
It's not just like, haha, I have you on the throat.
Mm.
The thing has him. It's like yanking him around.
Okay.
It's trying to latch on with its
Doing
other.
one
Yeah.
of these.
Yeah, he's not
Okay.
just standing there like, choke me because I like it. It's like he's getting his choke on, and it's not something he's into.
Alright.
Go ahead, JR.
I got a 16 plus 1, so that's a 17.
Okay, and give me damage 1d6 minus 1.
I got a 4 with the minus 1, so I got a 5 minus 1 is 4.
All right. It takes the knife, and its eyes fly open. It still has eyes. Desiccated corpse, almost like it's been in the sun too long. or maybe in the heat too long. So it's not like skeleton. It's an actual corpse. Its eyes are like yellowish green, and it says, "No, mine, mine, mine." And then we go to Crowley.
So that sounded like the captain when he had booze.
Did you say boobs or booze?
Booze.
I heard boobs.
Both.
Yeah,
Both you, though.
the answer is yes to all of
for
it.
both.
Always yes to both.
All right, I take aim at the hanging corpse and say, "Don't worry, I got this."
JR is in your line of fire, so
Yes, don't worry, I got this.
It's always a bad idea.
go ahead and tell me what you got.
I rolled a 2.
JR, give me a saving throw.
Goodbye, JR.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
I would like to do something.
Yes, Chaos Actual.
I would like to roll to hit on my cask. 20.
All right, give me a percentage.
79.
You get it all over your face, side of your face, and your ear. You're very sloppy drunk right now.
But I got it. But I got it in.
You got it in. Oh yeah. J Mac, what was first of all, Rick James? Did you get to saving throw?
I got a 1.
Oh no.
Well, he's lucky because I rolled damage, which I rolled a 3 in total.
Okay, so you stab this thing. You get kind of like square up to it. You hear a poof as a 5.56 shot sounds out behind you and blows through a section of your ribs.
I didn't need those.
So yeah, you take that damage. That goes to Wilbur.
But did I hit the corpse behind him?
Maybe you can't see. JR's in front.
Someone's
So-
gonna get a needle decompression.
So do I have a clear shot at our hanging corpse?
Yeah, no, not really. JR's kind of in the way.
So can I like take a sidestep and swing at him?
Are you going to use the hammer?
I'm activating the Hebrew hammer for it.
Say it. Say it.
The Hebrew hammer is being activated.
All right, so it's kind of like half lit in here because the only light coming in is through the holes in the hull. As you ignite this thing, all that ghostly fire kind of turns everything in this weird shade of blue. You need 15 unadjusted to hit it.
I got
Point
a
of
19.
order.
Yes.
Point of order. There's also light coming through the hole in my rib cage.
As planned.
As planned.
I rolled a 19 on that one.
Give me damage.
2d6?
2d4.
Oh, 2d4 on the hammer. That was 2d6. All right, hold on.
What you thought, Rob?
Okay. I got a 7.
You dislodge its hand from JR's neck by actually ripping off its entire arm.
Cool.
Naylin.
Oh, it's my turn.
Affirmative.
We don't judge.
Is JR moved out of the way? No, I'm just deciding.
Now
what I
he
want
is,
to-
yes.
He is
Yeah,
now
he kind of
away.
fell away after Wilbur ripped off the thing's arm.
All right, so I can shoot him with my M18 now.
Yes.
Sweet. I'm gonna shoot him with my M18.
So the elf that you guys were on that mission with, that you knew probably was with the daggers. With the Rangers at one point. She pulls out her own pistol. Go ahead.
18.
Give me 2d6. And are you firing one shot or two? 2. All right.
My first. You said 1d6 or 2d6?
2d6 for the pistol.
12.
All right, and a second shot.
Nice roll.
8.
That's the damage.
Yeah, that was damage.
Yep.
Times 2.
All right, so she puts two holes in this thing. It looks down, looks disgusted at all the damage that it's suffering. It starts snarling. Big Benny.
Hooray! I'm going to try my
Tiny
two.
Benny.
Hold on. Can we call him Big Ben anymore? I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's
it's
my
an
name.
ironic name now.
Little Benny now.
No, it's always Big Ben. Anyway,
Baby Benny.
I'm going to try my 2 obsidian daggers. I
Okay.
have no idea what effect they'll have.
Who gave those back to him?
The lieutenant had to give them back. So I hit twice.
All right.
These
So
minus ones
that's
killing me.
minus minus 2, -4. You still hit?
Yes, that
Okay.
was no problem at all. I got a total of 5 points.
Okay. So you run in and jump up and hit it in the kneecaps because it is floating off the ground.
Yeah.
You huge lacerating gashes in and around its legs.
That sounds fair.
It starts to like roar, but all that comes out is like this raspy, dusty croak. Chaos Actual, what are you doing?
Seems a little busy in there for my taste.
Are you going in?
Not yet. I'm going to wait to help.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
so you're holding your action.
That picture was from the Forgotten Ruin fantasy fan group. They wanted to know if I could put a Terminator in Forgotten Ruin.
And here he is.
He is, with enough money, anything is possible. And some of you who just came over and subscribed on the Substack, pro level move for going for the yearly subscription. You will get Tuckerized in a Nick Cole production. Nice. Tuckerizing means I take your name and make you a ninja with an eye patch or something.
Or something.
That's awesome. All right, so you guys, it rolls back around again and tries to fall on JR. JR, what's your arm?
I'm sorry, you mean it drops down?
Yes, it drops down. JR,
Okay.
What's your armor class?
I'm looking right now. 8.
Yeah, it drops on you and bites the side of your shoulder.
That's sucky armor class.
I'm
JR,
a
I think
magician.
you're gonna die.
So as it drops down, it's only got the one arm that it holds onto you with. It drops down and kind of like holds on like almost like a seatbelt hold, right? It pulls its head back. Its teeth grow into these incredibly dagger-like giant fangs. The sides of its mouth rip open as its mouth kind of unhinges, almost like a boa constrictor, and it bites down over your robes, and you take 9 points.
Wish you had the garlic necklace now, don't you?
Is it back to me now?
I think what makes you such a valuable team member, James M. Ward, is that you heckle people as they die.
Aha.
Did you do that to Gary Gygax and company?
I never heckled Gary. I wasn't brave enough to do that.
JR, what are you doing?
Stabbing it again.
All right.
Nice.
It's AC 5.
I got a 20, but it's not a natural. It's a 19 plus 1. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Yep. So you take your you're using a dagger?
Yeah, my silver dagger.
Silver
right.
dagger
Give
that
me
I
damage?
gave him.
What's
1d6 minus 1.
I got a 5.
Oh, nice.
All right. You take it, ram it right into its ear, and turn until half its head comes off until its neck breaks.
I
And
love that.
It like goes limp, and then the cloak actually lifts it back off the ground.
Is it dead?
Can I rip the
Almost
cloak
dead.
off of it as a follow-on, like coup de grace move?
It's not like something you rip. It's you're gonna have to like take it off one of its arms and then pull it over its head.
Can I manage it while it's floating in front of me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
All right. All right. So you have the cloak, and
Maybe it has magic powers.
what's that, Nick?
You should put the cloak on. Maybe it has magic powers.
Maybe.
Do you put
Maybe
the
it's
cloak
what
on?
maybe it's what killed the guy in the first place.
I mean, the captain orders me to put the cloak on. I follow orders. I'm like, Benny.
JR, put it on and be a balloon.
All right, I'm gonna put it on.
All right. Do you put it on all the way, like with the hood and everything?
I'll start without the hood because I got to be able to see in here. It's a little dim. Well, the Hebrew hammer's lighting it up a little bit.
All right. So you put the hood on.
Sure.
You hear, "I am so glad to be free of that twit."
Oh, boy.
I'm so glad he didn't kill me. So it's a win-win.
You're Doctor Strange now.
It says, "You took a hit here and there, little friend."
It happens. Hazards of the job.
You got a symbiote.
He says, tell you what, I want out of this boat. I'm sure you want out of this boat. What say we make a deal?
I'm listening.
I keep you from dying in whatever stupid thing you're about to do on this island. And I get to go with.
Okay, and what do you get out of it?
I get to go with.
Give me the tray.
And what happens after we complete this little jaunt into the island and we're done with this mission?
I still get to go with. Win-win.
And what else do you do for me besides keeping me alive?
That remains to be seen, my friend. That remains to be seen.
Do you have a name, Mr. Cloak?
Oh, we're not at names yet. You need to prove yourself to. Yeah, he's like, you need to prove yourself to me, not the other way around, kid.
Okay. So I report everything that the Cloak just said to the Chaos Actual, and I just shoo away Crowley, who's giving me crazy eyes for talking to nobody.
It's a theme tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Is the corpse still alive? Is it still attacking him?
No, it's not.
I asked him if we put him on AC, if he could bring the man back on the hamburger.
What's an AC?
On a dead Hamish, he's a sailor.
On the ghosty guy.
You want to put me on a dead sailor's sandwich?
No, just put him on him and see if you can bring him back so he can go back into a body that works.
He says, "Listen, man, boy, let's leave the boat."
Okay.
So to sum up, the homicidal master sergeant is now a teeny tiny little boy,
I'm not teeny tiny.
and he's gonna have issues. And Rick James is now talking to his clothes.
Yes. Yep. The ruin just took on a whole new meaning.
I'm talking to my visible imaginary friend. He's talking to his clothes. It's fine. We're
I'm
all
the
sane
only
here.
sane one here.
Yeah.
And I just shot Rick James.
Wait, does this mean if you keep me alive from stuff that I can drink as much as I want and never get drunk?
He says, "Look, if this is going to be one of those things where you ask me weird questions all day, I'm staying with the dead guy."
Okay.
All right, so you guys start trekking out to the fort. While you guys, yes,
I wish to take the guy's head, of course.
you're taking the corpse's head.
Yes.
You know, it's about half the size of your entire body.
I was going to say, it's like bigger.
No, it's not. I'm like 4 feet tall. I'm not a little 6-inch tall guy.
You're like one of those little children with a pumpkin bucket trick or treating.
Yeah, exactly. I'm 4 feet tall.
I'm hobbit sized and I'm taller than 4 feet, so that's not very tall.
So can we turn his skull into a cup?
Say again.
We can turn his skull into a mug for Chaos Actual to drink out of.
If you want to have him drink out of a dead man's skull that's probably been there for quite a few weeks with tons of stuff and bacteria crawling out of it, you go for that.
Yeah. Why would I disc magic cast that's never betrayed me like you guys have?
Yeah, really. And besides, it's my head, not the captain's head.
All right.
Put it on, see what happens.
So as you're walking up the beach, Naylin, your ghostly friend says, "I don't think I can go any further."
Poor dude.
Can we burn his body, see if that works?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
So can we burn his body, see if that works?
Or bring his body with us.
Or get a shovel.
You might need a mop.
So you use some of Kuchenmeyer's oil to burn him up.
Right. I mean, duct tape's not going to work anyways, and we'll find him a new body to put him in.
Yeah. Don't worry, AC. We'll take care of you.
We got you, man. We got your back.
He says,
Stand
"You sure
over.
this will work?"
Yes.
He'll be the dustiest of
Absolutely.
winters you've ever seen.
So you light the body on fire, and while you're standing there, he says, I feel," and then he's gone.
No more AC for us.
It's all right. We still have skulls. This is literally my skull cup, and I told my daughter to go grab it. I'm like, get my skull cup.
All right.
I told you we should have brought the body. Did anybody listen to me? No.
Did you get a shovel? No.
I was ready to carry it. Fireman's carry, just right up to the boat.
It was hamburger, a shovel. would have worked.
All right, so you guys exit the forest. Walking through the forest isn't that big a deal. It's mostly just palm trees, loose sand, and some sawgrass. You exit over here. You have an entrance in here. Here's a wall, and you can see another entrance over here.
Let's go for the far entrance, the last one that you tagged.
Okay, so right on this side, on the western side.
Let's move
The eastern side. Excuse me.
I'm going to ask the cloak if he's been here before and has some advice on the direction to go.
Did we not have this conversation on the beach? Are you going to be asking me strange questions all day?
I mean, I've got to do something to pass the time. I'm talking to my clothes.
If this continues to get weird, I'm going to do to you what I did to the last guy.
Floated him around. That's cool.
You see, here's the deal. I just pick you up and leave you in place, immobile, and then I go to sleep until somebody interesting puts me on.
This is supposed to be a partnership here, Clokey.
I'd start singing and dancing, Rick James.
And as you call him Clokey, you feel it tightening around your throat.
I don't think you're the top in this relationship.
Definitely the bottom.
I get it, Mr. Cloak. I'm the little spoon.
All right, so you
Not that
guys,
there's anything wrong with bottoms, everybody.
you guys file into that other side. It
Yep.
leads you into sort of like a courtyard, small courtyard. There's one cannon kind of upended. It's got 4 barrels that are marked in strange markings that Naylin you can read, and it says that they're powder kegs. And you got about 20 cannonballs close by. The wheels and staging for it are broken, so you'll have to build another one.
Naturally.
We have a lamb.
He says, "Carry this to the boat."
Yes, start carrying all of this back and forth to the boat and rowing out there while we explore the rest of this.
Done and done.
He can do it by himself.
See, that's
awesome.
leadership. No threats, no cloaks, no head cut off. It just got done. Thank you for my service.
All right, so you move a little bit further.
Yes.
All right. As you move, it winds around. So you guys kind of go through here, and like I said, open courtyard, scarred, broken. The cannon, you guys have Lamb take it out, and as you get to here, you can see a person in a dark cloak, just kneeling down and tracing stuff into the dirt.
In that room there that we're just entering?
Yeah, so he's in the he's just before the room. He's kind of in the hall, and he's tracing stuff on the floor.
I whip my sash off while still carrying my cloak, create a sword out of it, and try to jam it into him. AC 2. Perfect.
Yeah, lots of luck with
And I
that.
have my magic magic sword sash.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to roll a 13. Plus whatever.
He does one of those like cool guy ninja moves where he tries to slap his hands together to catch the blade.
Yes.
And you lean into it, and the look of horror on this thing's face as it is like he moves it off to the side, and you strike him in the shoulder. Give me damage.
Sweet. How much does the sword sash do?
2d6.
Damn. I found my new sword, my new jam. Corpse dice gives me a 1 and a 1.
All right, so it jabs him in the shoulder, and he's kind of like holding it, like just hovering above, and you kind of like put it against your ribs and lean into it.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's done this like little catch before, and he seems to be horrified at the fact that it's not working.
Yeah.
And it pokes just into his shoulder and starts drawing blood. He looks up, and he's like gritting his teeth. His teeth are all black. And you're close enough to see that there are white symbols painted along all his teeth. His face is stained and he's His left eye is ruined, kind of like hanging and scar, like the skin is hanging and scarred. It looks fused shut, like maybe he was burned or something at one point.
He's a hideous freak. Destroy him.
I come running in with my Hebrew hammer held high and take a whack at this guy.
You're not going to be able to get by Chaos Actual, who is in the way.
Oh, that would be unfortunate.
That looks like a job for Crowley.
All right. So you what do you call it? Let's roll for initiative.
All right. I shall roll against the dungeon master.
I got a 10.
I got 7.
He says something in a language you don't understand. It sounds guttural and kind of short, hoarse. He tries to pull the blade out, but it's bitten into his flesh. It doesn't seem like he's going to be able to get it. That brings us to Big Benny.
Splashing holy water that way.
All right. You're going to splash holy water. So you're going to throw it over
Yes,
rock powers
yes,
and
sir.
splash it with holy water?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hit me.
I rolled a 19. I don't know if that hits, though.
He needs to save. He starts burning. Like as the water hits him, he starts smoking.
Hooray!
Chaos Actual, you feel the cool, effervescent splash of nice water on the back of your neck. It feels just lovely in all this heat.
Confirming once again, not evil. James, that was a pro level move. A lot of the times players will take an opportunity to, fire a weapon or hurt other people, but you chose the holy water move. That's you must have learned that through hard dungeoneering with Gary Gygax.
Indeed.
And that's the expansion. Thank you so much.
Sister Spider.
There ain't a darn thing I could do because I can shield, but I can only shield myself.
You talking about your spell?
Mm-hmm.
You can live, laugh, love.
You can cast it on one of them.
I can cast out one of them. Okay, well, since he's in the way of everybody else and he's stabbing people with his sword of awesome, I'm going to throw my shield spell on him.
Cool.
All right. So
Dark powers.
behind you, Rock, you feel, you hear the, the strange sibilant language. JR, you take note because this is the same language that you've been using to cast spells.
Okay.
And you feel Rock because he's got his hands like he's pushing against you, and you feel the air grow heavy in between you.
Okay.
That brings us to
I want to live, laugh, and love.
and stab. Rick James.
So is my detect magic spell still working?
Yes.
What do I see on the guy kneeling in the ropes with the burnt face?
He's wearing something at his waist that is magical. And he is whatever he said earlier, there are hot spots of magic popping up all around you.
Do I recognize what this magic is?
You're not really sure. You kind of got a whiff of it when you went for the cloak. Same kind of deal.
Like when you go into the mall and the Philly cheesesteak is going and they've got the French fries but not the meat.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna shout to whoever's in the front. I think that's Chaos Actual, that he's wearing a cloak of protection like I am.
In your ear, you hear, "Who the hell said I was a cloak of protection?" Wilbur.
So can I get around Chaos Actual at all?
You might be able to push your way through and by, and then if you do that, you can attack at a -2.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, go ahead.
And I rolled a 16.
All right. Damage with the. I assume you're using the empowered hammer still.
Yes, I am. A 6.
6. It knocks him further into the room. He hits this wall and kind of crumples, rolling over, holding his side. He does not look like he's having a good day. That brings us to Crowley.
Seeing as everyone is in my line of sight, of course I admire his drawing on the ground, and that's all I do.
As you're staring at those letters, they start rearranging themselves to you.
On the ground?
Yes.
So I'm high, is what you're saying.
You might be high. And you think you read some sort of like a recall, like he's calling something up.
Great.
Okay.
He's rolling on the ground. He pulls his robes open and shoves his hand into the wound on his shoulder, and then takes his hand out and kind of recovers himself. That's what he does for his action. Nick, what do you do?
I throw my cask at him.
And let it so you against the wall so that it splashes all over him.
Well, it's gotten warm, so
yes. And then I shout to Booger, "It's time for that flaming oil."
I was going to say, I'm ready with a flask of oil and toss it, hoping that it ignites and lights that entire section on fire.
I shall roll a 14.
All right, he's going to save to see if Nope, he got splashed. All right, so you drop your cask over there. It splashes all over the place. The sweet scent of rum fills the very humid, fetid air.
Over here with the tear coming down. Why is the rum gone? Dude.
I hate dungeoneering.
Big Benny.
Big Benny starts looking behind him, expecting zombies to come out of the floor.
Nothing yet. That brings us to, let's see, Wilbur.
Tossing that oil.
Flaming oil.
Flaming oil.
Flame on.
And I got a 14.
All right, hold on. He's going to try and save. He does save. Give me damage for the oil.
Is that 2d6?
2d6, yep.
And I get a 9.
9. All right. And so your oil goes off, right? And just as it goes off, it splashes. There's flaming bits everywhere, broken glass. And then it ignites the the rum barrel. It catches his clothes on fire. And he starts, Nick, can you give me another 2d6?
I can. My magic dice. Let's go for a 5 and an 8. Hey, awesome dice. Always awesome.
So 13 total?
13 total.
You get
5 and a 3. 8 total.
8 total. I was going to say, that's kind of weird to get on a D6.
So I was going to let it go, but then I'm like, obviously I'd be cheating.
He starts like trying to roll around in the dirt, trying to smother the flames, but he's caught pretty bad. So that brings us to Mr. Crowley.
How's JR looking?
What are
You gonna shoot me again?
No, I mean, is he healing from the cloak, or is he still like?
He's still messed up.
Oh, I thought you were going all Midnight Cowboy.
No, I realized after I said it was like
Brokeback Mountain.
Fine.
JR, you look really good in that.
Yeah,
you lost weight.
This dim light. I have a med kit, don't I?
All right, so you're gonna apply the med kit to him.
Yeah, I'm not bandaged.
Roll. Do you have medical skill?
I don't think so.
All right, so go ahead and roll a 1d6 and cut it in half. Roll a round up.
Okay. I rolled a 3.
All right, so he gets 2 points back, and you've stopped all the bleeding and staunched some of the wound because his wound was already it seemed like it was already getting infected. So it was already turning green, and he had like these black veins like running off of the bite mark.
You're
it did
welcome.
not look good.
Yeah. Forget that I shot you.
Nailin, what are you doing?
Unmuting myself that I forgot I was muted.
Gotcha.
Yes. I printed off all my stuff, so I'm like trying to find the one sheet that. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm a hot mess. What is that thing called again?
A spell, a gun.
Yes. Well, no, it was
an
a
arrow?
scroll.
Oh, it was a scroll.
All
A
right. So you
scroll of destroy evil cleric.
Oh, scroll of phantasmal force.
Yeah.
all right.
that's-
So you would know what that is. It's an illusion spell.
Yes.
You're going to cast it?
You wouldn't cast it. You got to see somebody before you cast it.
Because I
Oh,
can't
thanks.
see the
Thanks, guy
being-
who invented D&D telling us how to do it.
Well, she's been around, you know.
Okay, it's just the guy's almost dead. It'd be silly to cast that spell. I'm sorry I said anything. Please enjoy yourself and do whatever you like.
Thanks for once again crushing all our joy. Poor Natalie wanted it.
I
Almost
was
dead as well.
because I can do
Phantasmal
the
force.
spell and I have a scroll. I have either or I can do.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
I was going to make it interesting, but it's fine. I'll stand here and not take a
Yeah,
turn.
let him trip
I'm
balls
sorry.
as he got it.
Sorry. I'm so very sorry.
We'll teach
I
you
won't,
how to
I
play
won't
D&D.
pull a fire elemental out of my butt and have fun with it. So
There we go.
Okay. So he's rolling around, and as he's rolling around, a bunch of hands come up break through the stone,
I knew it.
come out, and like kind of grab hold of him.
While he's on fire.
I
While he's
expected
on
that,
fire.
of course. I expected that.
We hear you, little boy.
So on the outside, you start hearing the daggers engage something. They start popping shots with their Mark 18s. There's a side passage that leads back outside from the room that you're in. This passage right here.
Okay.
So, Rock, you're standing right there, and Benny, you're standing right there. You got Crowley right behind him. Right through this thing, it looks like whatever is walking towards you was probably a pirate at one point. He's got a bandolier with a bunch of pouches on it across his chest. He's carrying what looks like a big long axe with like a gaff hook on it on his back, and he's carrying a cutlass. He's missing the left side of his face all into a skull. He's got bits of flesh hanging off of his jaw. His right shoulder is exposed all the way down to the bone. And there's the jingle of spurs as he's walking towards you guys. We'll start with Chaos Actual.
I shall recoil in horror and alert the rest of my crew that we are being assaulted from the flank, the right flank. And let's deploy Kuchenmeyer and his flaming oil, and I'll finish the burning guy with the claws.
All right. What are you going to do to the burning guy?
So the claws are coming out of the wall, and they've gotten a hold of him.
Yes.
And he's on fire.
Yes, but it looks like he's trying to put it out, but it's soaked into his clothing. He can't. He can't.
I'm gonna push my sword right into his head.
All right, go ahead and roll.
Do. Would you accept a 1 from
Oof.
Awesome Dice?
That sucks.
Damn it, Awesome Dice. Give me a percentage, please.
Damn you, Awesome Dice. How about an 83?
83. Hold on.
Wait, I'm
The-
not rolling on my Ranger dice pad that was
That's-
made by Ted Lehman. That's really half the problem, right?
Yep. Break
Yeah,
that
but
out.
that's because you have it as a pad instead of a dice box.
Let's see that again, Nick.
I do it now, James, because it makes you unhappy.
Yeah.
Your unhappiness is my happy place.
All right, fine.
All right, so you ram down at him. He kind of
Hey, look, if I would have rolled on Ted's dice pad, 19.
oh, see, there it is.
That's why you got to get that.
The what do you call it? The sash sword turns back into a sash.
Damn.
So you'll
I
have to
feel-
reform.
so-
You'll have to reform it next.
This was for the finishing blow on the guy who's stuck in the wall on fire, and you missed.
Yeah. But at least I'm not at least my boss isn't a teeny tiny little boy.
No. I feel bad for the guy who's on fire in the wall. Like
Okay.
you could have, I feel a little bad for him because you could have put him out of his misery.
He has tattoos on his teeth.
Well, yeah.
All right, Big Benny.
Okay, so my understanding of this dude is helpless against the wall, burning with clawed hands grabbing at his body. Is that my
Correct.
understanding?
Yes.
Yeah,
But you have somebody approaching to you on your right as well.
Yeah, I'm going to ignore him and take this guy's head.
Wait, whose head?
I'm taking the burning guy's head.
He's still alive.
Yeah, that's right, but he's helpless, being grasped by demon hands, and he's burning. So nothing's stopping me from grabbing his hair and slitting his throat and taking his head.
All right, so go ahead and give me a roll.
Are you going to explain to the Twitch channel what your fascination is with taking people's heads?
Anytime they want to hear,
is there ever going to be a big reveal on that?
I'll be happy to explain that anytime they want to hear it. So anyway,
it's still adorable.
I got a 19 with one dagger, and I'm wondering if I should use the other dagger or if his head comes off.
Go ahead and give me damage. 1d6 minus 1. Are you using the obsidian daggers?
Yes, of course.
It's so
I
cute.
live for that. I got a nice 5.
A nice 5. You stab him kind of like into the cheek, and it runs into his shoulder. He pulls his head away, and part of his cheek rips off, so that you're exposing his blackened, tattooed teeth.
I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't get his head, is what you're telling me.
You did not.
Okay.
I bet you wish Caitlin would have cast that Phantasmal Force now.
She's going to need that against whatever's coming at us.
Nayland, what are you doing?
Cast Phantasmal Force.
I really want to because I have a spell and a scroll.
No,
I can do it twice.
Do it. We have 22 minutes left. Go for it.
I am. I'm going to use the scroll, not my spell. The scroll of it, and use my scroll.
Now we're getting like we could do a little bit of color here. We're getting into illusionist spells, James. Those were sort of problematic in the early game, weren't they?
They were never problematic. They were too powerful. Gary did not like the illusionist caster.
Okay. Well, seems like you guys were having a lot of fun back then.
He cast a ton of new rules just because of the illusionist.
Yeah, because basically the illusionist kind of lets you do anything you want with low level spells.
Exactly right, buddy.
So if you were going to give Nayland some advice right now as a veteran D&D dude and totally abuse the rules of the illusionist, what would you do with not that she has to do it, but how would you abuse the rules with Phantasmal Force?
I would probably make a fire elemental because there's fire in the area right now. And if the guy didn't make his save, the fire elemental would burn him up to a crisp.
Interesting. All right, Nayland, go for it.
You did the fire elemental that I was going to last round. Because I said in the last round that I was going to create a fire elemental out of my booty hole, and here we go.
There we go. She did indeed say that, as a matter of fact.
This is what happens when you let her eat Taco Bell.
It's White Castles, get it right.
Yeah, really.
All right, Nayland, describe the epic booty hole fire elemental and how it summons itself into the room.
Well, there's already fire on him. So what I think would be amazing is if all of a sudden part of the fire that's on him starts to come off of his body and it starts to grow and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it's about 12 feet tall. And it starts to have some facial features that he can also see are drooling lava from its teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Also, you can see that this flaming hair come off of him and down his back, which then morphs into a cloak that matches his.
Bravo! Bravo!
That was awesome.
I'm going to give him a -2 on his save for that epic description. That was fantastic.
It was.
He does not save, and this thing descends on him, and all you can hear is screaming as the hands quickly withdraw, and he's just writhing down on the ground. Nicely done, Wilbur.
So I've got somebody to my right that is approaching.
Sort of. So you had moved into the room to smack
Right.
this guy,
Right.
and you got this guy right here.
Okay, so I don't really have line of sight to anybody.
Not yet. So Naylin has line of sight. Crowley has line of sight. But yeah, you know he's coming because Rock said he was coming.
Can I get there to do melee in one turn? Like
yes.
toss oil or something?
Yep, -2.
Okay, let me go try that. And I roll.
So no one wants to try
16.
talking. Okay, never mind. That's good.
Try talking?
Yeah, I know.
Nah, we're more the violent type. So, I roll a 16.
Just saying because I'm like the closest to him. And we've all attacked the completely helpless guy on the wall.
Throwing flaming oil.
You're throwing flaming oil in that area?
Yeah, in the direction of that shambling thing approaching us.
Smokey the Bear says only you can prevent forest fires.
Well, I'm checking my saves right now.
Don't burn me, please.
All right, so we
Stick
need
my fire elemental on you.
Right, we need saving throws for Naylin. No, Rock is in the room. So Naylin, Crowley, and that would be it in that immediate area.
Do we have to get over or under our saving throw?
You want over your saving throw.
Okay.
Clearing
Should be red on your sheet.
That illusion spell seems like so much fun. Why would you guys want to get rid of that in the game?
Because it killed groups of giants, and Gary hated killing groups of giants.
14.
Yeah, but you guys didn't seem to mind killing groups of players.
No, that was fine.
What is
I
fine?
did not save even with my +2 bonus to save.
Oh, that
Oh,
sucks. That's gonna hurt.
all right. Wilbur, give us some damage.
Was there ever an argument where you guys said like, "Hey, we've got the player's handbook, we've got the DMG, we've got the monster manual. Let's just leave this alone."
We never ever argued rules with Gary Gygax.
I might be new, but I at least study.
All right, so
That's wonderful.
2d6. I got a 6.
All right.
Galen, you played like a veteran. You might be new, but you played like a veteran.
You have done a very good job so far.
All right. So Naylin, you take 3 because you saved. Mr. Crowley, you take all 6 because you didn't.
Fun times.
All right.
And I assume I hit whoever the shambling thing is.
It's not shambling.
I hope so.
It is like rage walking towards you.
Okay.
Crowley, what do you do?
I say, hello there. How's it going? What was this fire that hit us? Did you see that? Who threw that? Oh my God, what's going on?
So you're trying to talk to it?
Yeah.
It stops.
Okay. I'm trying to convince it that I have no idea what happened, and I'm just a victim of this fire oil like he is.
That's why he's not a master sergeant.
It stops dead in its tracks and looks confused.
I'm like, yeah. I know. I'm confused too, buddy. I get you.
Rick James, what are you doing?
I'm close to the dead guy. Is his cloak still viable?
It's still on fire.
All right, that can wait then. Is there any dirt on the floor that I can kick on it?
Hey, if you really want to.
Yeah, we're gonna save that magic cloak. That might come in valuable later.
All right, 2 daggers come in behind you, Crowley, and they're like, "Do we light it up?"
Oh, I'm like, dagger, nameless dagger number 2 and nameless dagger number 5. You guys can go in there, talk to this guy. He seems really polite. I've engaged with him. I've conversed.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Did you exchange rings?
So
no,
you send
but
them,
I am wearing Richardson's wedding ring. Oddly enough.
You say what do you call it? You send dagger number 2 and dagger number 5 in to go talk to him.
Yes, our two nameless daggers.
Dagger number 2 walks up and he's like, "So, really need you to drop that cutlass," and it stabs him in the face.
Yeah, of course
Ooh.
it does.
So
Ooh.
with all this magic going on, am I noticing any change in the bowl necklace I'm wearing?
No,
Was that number 2 or number 5 that got stabbed in the face?
number two. He's
I like
quivering
that
there.
one.
Enough about the death of one of the people that's come with us from the world that once was. Is my necklace working?
Well, it's magic. We know it's magic. It might be able to help us. I'm trying to learn this.
Take minus 10,000 points to empathy.
Yeah, really.
I've been around Penny too long.
All right, Nick, you're up.
Let's see. Okay, I just watched this horrific thing happen to this dude. There's still action on the right flank, so my leadership skills are needed to stabilize the battle there. So I tell the daggers, kill that MFer now. Unlive that son of a bitch.
All right. So the what do you call it? The dagger that's standing there, that's still standing. He dumps a mag into it, or tries to. Nope, he doesn't. His weapon jams.
These guys are not having a good time.
No. Because of that, he tries to muzzle thump it. He just pushes it back a little bit. Big Benny.
Is the duration spell on the illusion? How long is that, if I may ask?
It seems to still be going.
So she could send that against the guy if she wanted to.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna scuff out the marks that he was drawing on the floor.
I was
Okay.
reading those.
Yeah, well, you can't read them now.
He what do you call it? Yeah. So you scuff out those marks, but he still is up and active. Naylin.
Is my elemental still up?
Yes.
Is what we're saying? Yes. Okay. So, like, can I be all cool, like, illusionist, and, like, pick up a little piece of fire and look at him and blow it at him, and then my elemental will follow him?
I absolutely think that is awesome. All right. So he's going to, it surrounds him and kind of wraps him in fire, but it doesn't look like he's reacting to it.
Bummer.
Dang.
Wilbur.
Can we talk about your flaming oil for a second?
Well, I am switching tactics at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
Since we've got our guy engulfed in flames that don't seem to be doing anything, I pull out one of the holy water flasks and toss it in that thing's general direction.
Go ahead.
My only hope for this show is that there's some high-functioning Asperger's autistic who's been watching the other time and counting the amount of times you've opened and closed that night. That would make my day. It's like they're like 536.
So I get an 11.
He catches it.
Oh, great. Yeah.
J Mac.
This is really intimidating, by the way, guys. There's this big hulking guy right in front of me. What would you have me do, Captain Powers?
Why don't you continue talking to him?
It works fine for me.
Unlive it.
No.
You are a trained, and I know this will seem like an oxymoron, Air Force killer.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
Yeah.
I take aim at it and I fire with my my rifle. No. Yeah, I don't want to go hand to hand with this. Yeah, with my rifle.
Great. 5-1 says it hits the other dagger. Anybody take that bet?
Go ahead.
Dagger
Pull the trigger.
number 5. Okay. I rolled a 16.
All right. Give me damage. 2d6.
10. Actual tide damage.
You blow a hole into its good eye.
Yes.
It kneels down, kind of like propping up its sword, its cutlass, to kind of give it something to lean on.
Oh, I've humbled it.
He did fumble it.
And it's not moving.
Okay, I'm good with that turn.
JR.
Did I manage to secure the magic cloak for the party?
The cloak is burned up. It's tatters. But you see that he's wearing a belt that seems to have survived the flame.
I grabbed the belt.
The buckle is like a serpent's head, that looks like it's like swallowing the other end of the belt.
Okay.
I love that.
Called the belt of go fuck yourself. No. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. Twitch, everybody. So
the gnomes that are with you that are kind of like helping you and guiding you, they say more cannons deeper in.
What about this undead juggernaut? Is it just dead? It's not moving? Is it?
It's not moving.
Okay. Can we detect some magic and see if it's got anything?
Somebody's got to cast it.
All right, I will cast it.
Crowley, you made friends. Go poke it.
I poked it in the eye with a bullet.
Chisel
All right.
caresses. So I cast detect magic.
All right. The axe on its back is magical.
All right, I passed that along.
Nice.
Can I pick the axe up?
Yes.
Okay.
You turn into an ant.
a space pineapple. Yeah. So the what do you call it? The little gnome that's with you, Nero. He says, "Big bad, more dead coming. We should move."
Okay. We will move. We will move deeper in.
Is there anybody who doesn't have a magic weapon?
Anybody?
Party?
I don't.
I can't.
I have
can't
the
use the
obsidian
axe.
short sword, right? Is that
That's not
magic?
magic.
It's cursed.
Yeah, we want to give the magical axe to the guy who talks to monsters.
And doesn't believe in magic.
What a good idea.
So
I
I'll
support that plan.
turn to the captain and say, I can't use this. Who needs this magic axe?
Well, I would give it to Big Benny, but he's just a little boy now. So the
Okay,
Dragging
I'm
it behind
4
him.
foot tall. I don't know if I'm strong enough to use the axe. I have a 14 strength. Walt, am I strong enough to use the axe?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I will take the axe and bend down and hand it to Benny.
Only to you, it's going to be more like a halberd, Benny.
Yeah, okay, great. I want to separate the head from both of those monsters. I
So
won't take them.
The chat has asked what your fascination with heads is.
Yeah, okay. Do we have 48 minutes and 12 seconds?
We have about 7 minutes.
It's been my experience in the fantasy realms that stuff comes back at you, but it can't come back if it doesn't have its head. So I always take the heads and move them more than 100 yards away from the bodies.
You've come back twice now.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm not a monster.
Tell that to the Headless Horseman.
Yeah, exactly. But his head, you're right. But he carries his head. See, it isn't separated from his body, and that's what I do.
And you learned this in Greyhawk.
I learned that in Greyhawk Land. Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got to take the head off, and you've got to move it 100 feet away.
You got to move it more than 100 yards away, and it's better if you do stuff to it, like pour salt down its mouth and put a stone in its mouth. It's better if you do all that stuff. But if you don't have time, just separating the head from the body is a real good thing.
You guys were really working with both hands over there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, Captain,
You haven't heard the half of it.
While you at it, remove the heart and burn it.
There we go. That'd be we ate those though.
Captain Kogoshi wants to know if you're still keeping your Master Sergeant rank.
Yes, I am.
I think he's. I mean, I don't think he's. You haven't done any war crimes today. You've explained your ghoulishness.
I saved your butt with holy water.
You saved my butt with holy water. So I think you're off probation, and I think you're Master Sergeant now. But I'd like you to know your rank is still Velcroed on.
So C. Smith 1510 says make it regular sergeant due to his minuscule size.
Okay, I'm not that small. I'm 4 feet tall.
Definitely not Big Benny. I mean,
and on that,
no girl ever says like, "Oh, he's so handsome, he's so strong, he's 4 feet tall."
The gnome girls all love me. That's why they call me Big Benny.
Have you encountered any gnome girls yet?
They'd actually call you tripod, I think.
Very
Right
good.
now.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it a bit.
Hey, we want to thank everybody for coming out and sharing an afternoon with us. Nailin, it was awesome to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I really had a great time.
And
Please come back anytime.
yep, open seat.
Love to.
And we want to thank everybody for stopping by. Leo, thanks for the great drop in the of all those subs for the community. That's really awesome, man. We always love having you here. We want to thank everybody who came out and just geeked out with us while sci-fi writers were playing old school D&D. We'll catch you next time.